There has been an explosion of interest in narcissism these last few years, and specifically in the negative effects that narcissists have on people in their lives. I'm Anna Runkle, also known as the Crappy Childhood Fairy, and today I want to talk about what to do when you think you've got a real live narcissist in your life. So first, narcissistic personality disorder is a thing, a loosely defined thing, depending on what source you're reading. I did a quick online search, and it brings up a good short working definition that says, narcissistic personality disorder involves a pattern of self-centered, arrogant thinking and behavior, a lack of empathy and consideration for other people, and an excessive need for admiration. Others often describe people with narcissistic personality disorder as cocky, manipulative, selfish, patronizing, and demanding. Sounds kind of familiar with some people you might know. Now, there are 100 variations on this. There's covert and overt narcissists, malignant narcissists, narcissistic parents, spouses, bosses, children. I'm sure we all know them. And if you have childhood PTSD, there's a higher than average likelihood that narcissism played a role in the personalities of the people responsible for the abuse and neglect that you suffered. Narcissists are not always good or even adequate parents, and a lot of people are only beginning to reckon with the damage that happened when they were young. But we also know that narcissism is likely caused, in part anyway, by neglectful parenting. It makes sense that if no one will think well of you or care for your needs, you might be kind of pushed to become selfish and self-centered, and maybe even to blow your own horn a bit to try to declare to the world that you are somebody and you're worth something. And I think some of us with CPTSD can get that way sometimes, even if we don't technically have a personality disorder. I think everybody gets a little like that sometimes, and I don't mean to minimize how bad narcissism can be. I've known my fair share of narcissists, and it was like Superman and kryptonite. Just being around them was crazy-making for me, and in a weird way, disabling. And I always questioned why I didn't just get away from them sooner. Still, though, I don't think it's totally fair when we talk about narcissists as if they're fully to blame for their behavior, except those of us who have childhood PTSD, we're never to blame, right? We blame the narcissist. Here's the thing. We didn't ask to be neglected and abused, and we didn't get a choice about developing childhood PTSD. And likewise, with someone with narcissistic personality disorder, if these labels are even really meaningful, which many people, even professionals, say maybe they're not totally meaningful, but people with narcissism didn't ask for it either, and they have even less control over their problems than does somebody with PTSD. Now, narcissists often damage their kids. So too do people with CPTSD, sometimes. We really can't separate out good people, bad people, victims, perpetrators into neat little categories. We're all a bit of both, and as people with childhood PTSD, we're often, I hate to say it, attracted to people who are selfish and manipulative. And why is that? I don't know, because we lack boundaries, and we sometimes crave a focus on someone or something other than ourselves, maybe because in a crazy way that calms us down. We can't change narcissists. Evidently, they can't even change themselves. But we can work on our boundaries and our inner calm, and we can be more systematic about choosing people who can reciprocate love and attention with us. And that's something I talk about a lot in my dating and relationships course for people with childhood PTSD. So when people ask me what to do about narcissists, I say there's not a lot you can do. And that's tough if you're a child and they're your parent and you don't have a choice. But if you're an adult, you can and perhaps should get out. And if you're brave and ready, you can look at what drew you to a person who can't love you in the first place. Or also, you can try my daily practice to help just release the fear and resentment that holds you in unhappy relationships and that keeps you from speaking up and taking action that makes sense for you. That's how I got free, and then your whole life kind of develops from there. My daily practice course costs nothing, and you can use these techniques anywhere. Whatever happened to you in the past, whatever hard stuff is going on in your life right now, it does not define you. There's a full, complete, lovely person inside you with talents and gifts to bring to this world. So let's get free of these old patterns so that the good person can get out of their cage and breathe free and have choices. And I'll see you next week.